each one, these are our dosimetries of a record, right? So if you've gone to get a X-ray, dental X-ray, you'll notice that the X-ray technicians will have these on their person, right? So nuclear workers, we carry these. I have mine. The number corresponds to who I am, has my name on it. I'll wear this every day that I work, and it tracks how much dosage I get on the job.
And it gets read every day? Or
every day. Radiation protection will come on a periodic basis. I think it's every quarter, every month, and they'll check and monitor these.
So this is where all the business happens. What is this right here?
So this is our Unit 2 reactor containment building. So that's our containment building. And
the big dome.
The big dome is where the reactor's held, the steam generators, and the energy, the heat to make the steam, to make the electricity is in that building.
And I see tracks going up the side. What are those tracks for?
So those are tendons, right? So there are these big tendons that go around inside that concrete, and we're able to look at the stress of the concrete over time, and you're able to tighten or loosen that if you need to. We do testing on that.
Okay, so you're creating all the heat in there, and then where does everything go? What's the building down below it here?
So down below it, that is our spent fuel building there over to the left, in the background there. And then we have our rad waste building here, which is mostly for taking some of our fluids and processing them for reuse in the process. Down here on the right, you have your diesel generator buildings, Alpha and Bravo train. Behind those,
have the screens up on the top there.
Right.
And so what do you have? What are the generators for? Aren't you generating power?
Well, they don't generate power. They're used as a backup. Like we talked about in the switch yard, we use off-site power going to our safety buses, right? At all times, it's ready to provide our safety system, safety pumps, etc. The diesel generators, if we have a loss of those, will instantly light off. Within 10 seconds, they'll get up and they will load, and they'll provide 4,000 volts of power, 5.5 megawatts of power to the systems that are necessary to hold us in safe shutdown.
So yeah, so if you're having an issue and your power's off, and then even if this backup power is off, now you've got this power.
So this is the primary power. That is the backup power. You only need one of the two of those to keep you safe, right? And we have two of them.
Show me these really quickly. I don't think I've ever seen a cement door this thick. Why do we have the thickness on these doors?
That is a missile door. So these doors can open, and if you look behind this, you would see a 20-cylinder Cooper Bessemer locomotive engine, and that engine provides 4,000 4160 volt power, 5.5 megawatts of power.
So you're protecting it with a 46,000 pound door?
The door, yeah. We want to protect these, right? It is, and you'll see that all throughout the plant. When we talk about license renewal, the amount of robust construction we have out here lends itself to that, right? I mean, it's protected, it's safe, technology's understood. It's just a matter of taking and getting some things upgraded, and we can carry on for another 20 years. So this is the entrance to the radiologically controlled area. So through those doors, right, once you've had your radiation protection brief and you know the job you're going to work on, a pump or a valve or something, then you go to this slot here, you get one of these, you log in, you know what job you're going to do, and this will track you while you're doing that job. You'll go in through there, and then you end up coming out through here. Behind that's our auxiliary building, we call that. An auxiliary building has all the pumps and valves and everything for our safety systems, our safety-related pumps and that sort of thing. It goes, we're on the 100-foot, 40-foot level, so the concrete structure goes down to what we call the 40-foot, so it goes 80 feet into the earth, this concrete set of rooms, and yeah, again, super strong. So right now we are 40 feet above ground level. Ground level is what we call our 100-foot level because the plant actually goes 100 feet down into the earth at some point. We talk about steam, right? The nuclear power makes the hot, water to heat to make the 1,000-pound, 500-degree steam to turn this turbine. 2 steam generators. You got the reactor vessel and you got a steam generator on either side. Each one of those steam generators has a big pipe that comes off the top of it, the nozzles. That's where the steam comes from. These are the exit pipes. These 4 pipes, one of the steam generators, the other steam generator. These are radiation, these are nitrogen 16 monitors. So they monitor nitrogen 16, which is the first indication that you would have any radiation in that steam.
So this water and this steam should be totally clean.
Totally clean. And if it has an inkling of nitrogen 16 in it, this picks it up. Reactor operators in the control room go up. It's like we've got something going on, they can shut it right off, and it keeps it from going to the turbine.
And take a look at this. This is a massive turbine. This basically takes the heat and the steam from the nuclear reaction and pushes it down to the generator to turn it into power. But it is huge.
Once the steam goes through the turbine and condenses in the condenser, it has to be heated back up before we put it back into the steam generator. That's all about efficiency, right? So we'll end up, you have 7 stages of feed water heaters, and these are the last 7. So you have stage 5, 6, and 7 on one steam generator, and then you have 5, 6, and 7 on the other steam generator.
Why does it have to be heated up again? So you don't want to put cold water in there?
No, you're right. It's all about, it's called the Rankine cycle, right? There's an efficiency cycle that these plants were built to. Okay, so now we're at the 176-foot level. And I love this vantage point. So over there you have unit 3, and you see unit 3's cooling towers. You have 3 cooling towers per unit, and you got the spray ponds for its diesel generator over there running. They're doing chemical additions right now, and so they're just running the spray ponds like you would your pool.
These are huge too, Tim. I mean, why is it so important to have cooling towers this big?
We have an advantage in the desert being this dry, right? So we're able to take advantage of adiabatic cooling, right? So you've seen the hourglass designs that you have at some, right, the standard, hourglass design sort of thing. We don't do that, right? So what we have is we're able to take and those, you have 16 fans on top of each one of these towers. Each one of those round things on top are a fan. Those louvers on the side, what's happening is the water from the condenser is pumped out. It goes to the top of the cooling tower and trickles down those louvers. And those fans suck air in and out. And that's what that water vapor you see. In the wintertime, it'll look like a plume, right? And people will say, hey, that's steam. It's not steam. Steam's 200 degrees. That's like 110-degree water vapor coming off of there. And right now it's so dry you can't see it. And in the dead of summer, you won't see anything come off of it because it evaporates like that.
Right. Okay. So we're looking around here. This is like what you see in the movies all the time, right? This is the control room.
This is the control room. That's right.
And what happens in here?
So we control the different systems to control the reactor, to make the energy, to control the steam going to the turbine and the generator. So over here we have the switchyard, right? You saw the switchyard earlier, and the power coming from the switchyard to the units. All of the different bays going into that switchyard are represented here, and they can control them from this board 1. It also has those diesel generators, right? Controls for the diesel generators, Alpha and Bravo train diesel generators on those ends. So that's the electrical side.
Okay, so it's a simulation of losing power.
This is a simulation of losing power, and this is what our operators train on all the time, how to respond to this event. Goes green, all that power's gone.
So in real life, if this happens, what would happen next?
That board, just like that, your diesel generators have just started in 10 seconds. And the reactor operators will respond, and they will take and stabilize the plant.
Everything was saved. Good job. So here are these concrete casks. This is your spent fuel, correct?
That's correct.
Right, so how do you store them?
So in each one of these vertical concrete casks, inside of them are a temporary storage container. Temporary storage containers were developed to be able to transport the casks to a long-term storage facility at Yucca Mountain, U.S. government. The way they're stored is anywhere from 24 to 37 fuel assemblies are put into these casks underwater. A lid is welded on top underwater, and then the internals are vacuum dragged to dry and then backfilled with helium for cooling. Those temporary storage containers are impenetrable. They've been tested against explosions, impacts, fire, extensive testing, and they're used industry-wide. Those casks are inside of these vertical concrete casks, and they're set in there with space around them to where the louvers on the bottom of these casks, these concrete casks, let the air rise up around it, and that provides its cooling. It provides cooling just right from the desert.
What I think is so interesting is that you said every single bit of fuel that's been used at Palo Verde since it opened is still sitting here in these casks.
That's right, 182 casks, about 40 years of operation here at Palo Verde is right here on this facility the size of a football field.
And how much room do you have for future casks?
We have another 152 we can put here, and that puts us to the year 2050, well beyond our license extension.
What would happen then?
At that point, we would either use a federal facility or build another pad for ourselves, or maybe at that time we will have a technology available to reconstitute the fuel.
And that's one of the things I think a lot of people who may be anti-nuclear power that they worry about is what you're doing with this spent fuel. They call it nuclear waste, you call it something different. So what is the long-term plan of dealing with this nuclear waste going forward?
Well, it'll either be repurposed, right, or it will be stored safely with the rest of the fuel nationwide.
And what would you say to somebody who's saying, I don't feel comfortable with all this stuff sitting around 45 miles outside of Phoenix?
Well, I'll tell you, it is our primary mission here at Palo Verde, as with our peers, to protect the grid and provide safe, reliable electricity for our customers. This facility, you can see from the security measures and the robustness of the design that it is safe. It's inherently safe, and we put extra defense in-depth measures to make sure that we can do that.